Hey guys, Austin the manager here. In this video, I'm going to talk about the sleep tips that I use in order to manage over 500 clients on social media every month. If you stay around to the end of the video, you're going to learn how to fall asleep fast, how to stay asleep through the night, and also how to wake up feeling rested and ready to take on the day. Getting good sleep is an important habit that a lot of people overlook when they're trying to increase their productivity. Now, a few months ago, I realized that I felt really tired during the day, and I just felt like I wasn't sleeping as good as I wanted to. So, like anybody else, when I need to learn something, I went to YouTube, and I actually couldn't find anything about how to sleep better and how to fall asleep. There's maybe one or two videos, and it really didn't go in depth like I wanted it to. So, I did my own research. I learned that there's actually a lot that we do throughout the day that affects how we sleep at night. So I'm going to walk you guys through the things that I've been doing in order to improve my sleep and feel rested when I wake up and ready to face the day. I know a lot of you guys are just going to say, I don't sleep well, I've learned to deal with it, I've tried absolutely everything and I can't fix it. You see, sleep is really about practice and training your body to get into a routine. Everything I'm about to tell you is within your power to change, and it's all about you just taking the initiative and actually working towards it. It took me a month to get my routine down and feel like I was actually making a difference, but I still know I'm not the best sleeper I could be, and I'm working towards it. And you have to realize that this is a process, and you have to stay patient throughout the whole thing. So the first thing that we do during the day that affects our sleep is drinking alcohol. And now don't leave, I promise, you can still drink. But the problem is, a lot of people say, oh, if I drink at night, I sleep really well. And you might feel like you sleep well, as in terms of you fall asleep and that's it. But in reality, it's not very restful sleep. And that's what we want when we're falling asleep. So the solution here is you can still drink your alcohol, but hold off 3 to 4 hours before bed. And if you do, you're going to be more likely to sleep better throughout the night. Number 2 is coffee. And now I know this is basically everyone's key to being productive and getting their day started. And coffee's fine to drink. The key here is drink your coffee before 2 p.m. If you have any coffee after 2 p.m., it might be keeping you awake at night. Number 3 is exposure to daylight. So you should be starting your day off going outside. And the reason that you want to do this is that it's regulating your body's biological clock. So when it's time to go to sleep, it's easier to fall asleep and you're more likely to feel tired. Now, initially, I didn't believe this, but I started spending more time in my backyard in the morning, and it's such a positive vibe and it helps me get my day off on the right foot, number 1. And number 2, I'm not starting off in my basement, which has no windows. So it's a positive vibe, and I'm also helping myself sleep better when it gets time for sleep. Ideally, shoot to get about 30 minutes of exposure to daylight as early as you can in the day. Number 4 is your exposure to screens. And now I'm not talking about blue light. When you go to sleep, you want to be relaxed and you want to do something mindless before you get to bed. Anything that you're consuming on a screen, whether it's a TV show or you're browsing social media, you're going to get excited either positively or negatively. Either way, it's killing your sleep vibes. And your brain might not even realize that it's ready to go to sleep. So find yourself a routine and do something relaxing before you go to bed. Number 5 is exercise. Now, you don't need to be a gym rat. You don't need to go crazy for this to be beneficial. Studies show that just 30 minutes daily of elevating your heart rate is enough to help you feel tired when it's ready to go to sleep and sleep well throughout the night. They recommend you could just do a brisk walk, and that'll be beneficial. Number 6 is late night snacking. And this is probably the hardest one for me to tackle because I feel like I eat a full meal like every 2 hours. If your body has food in its stomach to digest before you're going to bed, you're going to have a terrible time falling asleep. Your body's still awake and it's still working to digest that food. So believe it or not, it's actually better to be slightly hungry before you go to bed, and then you're going to fall asleep a little bit quicker. Ideally, you want to shoot to stop eating 2 to 3 hours before you go to sleep. Last but not least is napping. And I know this is a big one for a lot of people, so listen up. Napping's actually really good for you. The problem is that people usually nap for too long, or they're napping at the wrong time of the day. So ideally, you want to nap for about 15 to 20 minutes. Now, what I do is I set myself a 30-minute alarm, and I give myself like 10 or 15 minutes to fall asleep, and then I have the 15 to 20 minute window to actually nap. If you nap for too long, you're going to have a problem falling asleep when it's time for bed. Also, the time of the day when you're napping is key. So you really want to nap sometime after lunch, but before 3 p.m. If you nap later in the night, you're going to have a problem falling asleep because you just took a nap. Pick which one of these affects you most right now and focus on that. If you try to tackle everything at once, you're going to get overwhelmed. So focus on one, and it could even take you a few weeks to really feel like you're starting to make an improvement. But you got to stay patient with it. And then once you feel like you've conquered that or you've improved that greatly, go to something else on the list and keep doing this until they're all gone. So now I want to talk about your circadian rhythm. I know a lot of people probably say, oh, it's bad for you to stay up late. And that's not necessarily the case. It all depends on your circadian rhythm. And that's what tells you when it's time for you to sleep. So we all have different circadian rhythms, and following that is what helps us get the best sleep. So whether you're a night owl or an early riser, we all benefit from having regularity in our sleep schedule. And this is honestly the key that helped me start sleeping a lot better. In order to get yourself closer to the best possible sleep, you want to pick a regular bedtime and stick to that. And bedtime actually means getting in bed and going to sleep, not watching YouTube on your phone for like 2 hours, probably like a lot of you guys are doing right now. You have to associate your bed with sleep and only sleep. Doing something else in your bed is going to negatively affect the way that you fall asleep. Your brain might actually confuse what it's time to do and keep you awake. So you want to be able to get into bed and your brain knows now's the time to go to sleep, and then it'll be easier to fall asleep. Regularity applies even when waking up. So as soon as you wake up, get out of bed. Right now for me, I usually wake up between like 8:45 and 8:30, even on the weekends, which is really important. Even though that kind of sucks, you get used to it. And I don't use an alarm. So I know a lot of people have to use an alarm because you either have a job or you go to school. So just do your best to roll with it. Your body will adjust and you'll probably start waking up a little bit before your alarm. If you pick one thing to focus on that I've discussed throughout this entire video, pick regularity. If you continue to sleep irregularly, your brain's going to get a similar feeling to jet lag. And it's not going to know when to go to sleep or when to wake up, and you're not going to get restorative sleep like you need to be getting. So if you pick one thing, focus on regularity. If we want to practice regularity, we have to find a bedtime and a schedule that works for you. The first thing you're going to do is figure out how many hours of sleep you're getting right now. Not how many you want to get, but just how many you get right now. And whatever that number is, just accept it for what it is. We can work on it. Forget any traditional advice you've heard about people saying, oh, you need 8 hours of sleep or else. If they're telling you that, they're wrong. Now we have to decide when you're going to wake up. Forget any traditional advice that says winners wake up early and lazy people wake up late. It doesn't matter. Just pick a time that works for you and fits your schedule. Once you have a time, count backwards how many hours of sleep you're currently getting a night. Whatever number you fall on, add 30 minutes to that. And this is going to be your earliest possible bedtime. For example, if you have to wake up at 6 a.m. every day and you currently get 7 hours of sleep every night, if we count backwards 7 hours, that brings you to 11 p.m. And then we're going to add 30 minutes onto that so we can fall asleep. So your earliest possible bedtime would be 10:30. Notice how I said earliest possible bedtime. So if you're not tired, do not go to sleep. Forcing yourself to go to sleep is only going to give you terrible sleep, and you're going to toss and turn the whole night. Now, your bedtime does have that wiggle room, but your wake-up time does not. So you have to practice waking up the same time every single day, even on the weekends. I definitely recommend you set an alarm, and your body adjusts and will get used to it. I don't have to use an alarm anymore, and I wake up between about 8:30 and 8:45 every day. These are the types of things that you're just going to have to work at because you're not going to be good at it immediately. But as you continue doing this process, you're going to get closer to becoming a master of sleep. For anyone who sleeps less than 5 hours right now at night, you have to make that your minimum. And you can work towards sleeping more as you take these best practices and apply them. So at minimum, 5 hours in bed, give yourself an extra 30 minutes so you have time to fall asleep, no matter what the circumstances are. Write down what your earliest bedtime is and your wake up time and commit to that. You're only going to get better at this with time. Now that we know when to go to sleep and when to wake up, as well as some of the stuff that we can do during the day to make sure that we sleep better at night, we have to talk about your bedroom or wherever you sleep. Now, I know everyone has a different living situation, so some people might have a TV on the wall, a desk in their room to work at, or clothes all over the floor. And life is what it is sometimes, so you can't follow an entire list of best practices. But if you're aware of these best practices, you can follow them as closely as possible to your living situation. Number 1 is sleeping in colder temperatures. Now, you ideally want to keep your room between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. This is going to help you relax and stay calm throughout the entire night so you can sleep. Number 2 is keeping your room neat. So if you have clothes all over the floor, your brain can get distracted from the sole purpose of that room, and that's to sleep and nothing else. Number 3 is having no screens in your room. So engaging with light or seeing something on social media is going to block the signals that make you feel sleepy, and this can keep you up at night. Number 4 is keeping the air fresh in your room. So you could open the window to create a draft, or you could use an air humidifier. You don't want to close your door unless there's something really loud in the other room that's going to keep you awake. And that was something I had to get used to as well. I always sleep with my door closed, and for whatever reason it makes me feel safer. But I'm getting used to sleeping with my door open now. Also, for the same reason, you're going to want to do your bed sheets at least once a week. So you want to sleep on a clean pillowcase and clean sheets. Number 5, and I think a lot of people are going to like this one, is not making your bed. So if you make your bed right away as soon as you wake up, you're basically trapping all of the dust mites, and it's going to keep your sheets very stale. You actually want to let them breathe. So when you wake up, leave your sheets however they are, and if you want to, you can make them at night, or if you're like me, you just climb back into bed. And number 6 is sleeping in the dark. And I know, of course, everyone's going to say like, duh, don't sleep with the lights on. But when the sun goes down, your body starts to produce melatonin, and this helps you feel sleepy. If you expose yourself to a lot of light when you're starting to get ready for bed, this can confuse your brain and stop the production of melatonin, and then you won't be as tired as you should be, and you're going to have trouble falling asleep. To put it simply, you have to listen to your body when it comes to sleep. So if you feel tired, you probably are. And if you feel rested, you probably are. If you're feeling really tired every morning after practicing what we've discussed in the video for a few weeks, push your earliest bedtime forward by 15 to 30 minutes. And you can do this on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis. Give yourself about an hour or so after you wake up in the morning to decide whether or not you feel rested. Before I wrap the video up, if you guys got any value from me today and you enjoyed the video, smash the like button for me. If you want to see something new, if you want to see more from me, please subscribe. You know, I'm brand new to YouTube, so any support that I get is greatly appreciated right now. So to wrap it up, the most important thing you can do is practice regularity. So wake up at the same time every single day, even the weekends, and get out of bed as soon as you wake up. You're also going to want to get at least 30 minutes of daylight every day. It's best to do it before lunch, and this is going to help you reset your body's biological clock, and it's going to be easier to fall asleep at night. Eat regularly. So whatever is regular for you, do that. Also make sure you're drinking enough water. Dehydration can feel very similar to being tired, and you don't want to go to sleep if you could just fix that with a glass of water. You don't want to drink any coffee after lunch, so if you're a heavy coffee drinker, you may start getting headaches or nauseous when you first start to do this, but trust me, push through it. It's definitely worth it for you to sleep better. You want to also get your heart rate up every day, so a minimum of 30 minutes is enough to make a difference and help you feel tired at night. Develop some type of routine, so when you're going to bed, don't embark on anything that's going to get you super excited. You want to relax before bed and do something mindless that you enjoy. This one's still a no-brainer. Sleep in the dark. The darker your room is, the more tired you're going to feel, and you'll stay asleep throughout the night. And at minimum, get at least 5.5 hours of sleep. Go to sleep at your earliest possible bedtime, as long as you're tired. If you're not tired, don't go to sleep. With all that being said, if you made it this far, I really appreciate you. drop a comment. Let me know what you enjoyed most about the video or what you feel is going to be most difficult for you in getting better sleep. If you don't follow me on Instagram, definitely head over there. Follow me at Austin the Manager. I'm the guy with the shoe phone. So if you don't know what that is, definitely go check it out and let me know what you think.